Gentlemen, refreshing your memory a little, a lot of discussion to do with artificial intelligence. The more they simplify our lives, the more they make our jobs and our futures complex. It is a very important dialogue that we all need to have. So I am going to once again call all of our panelists onto the stage. We are going to discuss the pros and cons of having AI into our lives. So here, ladies and gentlemen, we have Zaid Khan, Nikita Datta, Shalini Pasi, and Ms. Shelly Mehrotra, the founder and CEO of Fixed Derma, on the panel with us, which is going to be moderated by Meena Iyer. The moment, ladies and gentlemen, that we all have been waiting for has arrived. Please welcome Meena Iyer, Shalini Pasi. A huge round of applause for her, please. Ms. Shelly Mehrotra, the founder and CEO of Fixed Derma. Nikita Datta. And while we wait for Zayed to join us, I think this is a very good cue for us to start. What do you say, Meena?
Yes, absolutely. Zayed right here.
Okay, so I'm going to push him from there.
Hi, everyone. Today, our panelists are here, and I am too, to discuss what everybody loves AI. So, guys, basically, the question is we can't wish AI away. So, what we want to know is it going to be a boon or is it going to be a bane? Any of you can start.
So, do you want to know the good news or the bad news?
You can start with the good one.
So, the good news is, I think it's coming, but not anytime soon.
Okay.
It's going to be about 5, 7, 8 years before it becomes actually very relevant to how the industry functions. The bad news, it's coming.
Yes.
And I think what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to have to re-understand how they're going to take towards acting, especially, and how they're going to take towards a lot of technical verticals that are there in film. So yeah, it's a good time, great time, but at the same time, it's a time to adapt because it is coming.
Absolutely, yeah. Any of you ladies would like to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a blessing. So if you remember, when pager came and then the mobile came, right? Now we have all cell phones and they are getting tinier and tinier. And if you remember, go back and think of the boxes, the TV boxes, and now we have smart TVs. So it's keep changing. And when Google came, I remember there were a lot of panels and discussions that now there won't be any textbooks, right? There won't be any schools because Google answers everything. So I feel AI is good. It's definitely a blessing, but it depends how it's going to evolve in future. So we'll see.
Yeah. So, like everything else, of course, there's been a lot of debate from black and white to color. But for me, cutting it really quick to say that India being such a huge population, sectors like medical as well as schools, education are two sectors which can actually benefit because one, in India, medical is something which not everybody has access to. So if that can be used and it is already being implemented rather than a person going from various doctors, if some and AI is able to combine all that data and in a fraction of the price which would actually take, it would really help the health sector in India, and also education because our villages don't have teachers who are present at the time. So there's so much challenges there. So I think these two sectors can really benefit. What I read recently that leaders from the countries getting together and figuring out, how do we stop AI accessing nuclear codes? So there, it's really a very, very thin line, and that can be taken care by implementing very strong laws when it comes to AI. But the bigger challenge will be that will every country comply to those laws, and how do we go about it? So I think the leaders across the world, they have their task cut out for them to figure this one out.
Okay, now we have actors here on stage, Shalini, you too. So I basically want to know, do actors see AI as a threat? Will, IPR and copyright of actors, become a bigger issue? Because with the coming days, you can have somebody imitate you or you can have somebody impersonate you, either way. So I would love to know from you, Nikita, what are your thoughts on this?
I was waiting for you to come to the film part of AI because that's what we're here to speak about. So I'll tell you there are two aspects to this. One is where we talk about how it can be misused. Where today I could do something and my face could be, there's a deep fake if you know about, I could be replaced with my own self. They would say, we don't need you anymore. We can just use your face and we can get the work done. So there is one aspect which is basically this. And then comes not just with actors, but with multiple other, sub-professions that are there in the industry, from singers to writers, who again can be replaced for their job because they can just get AI to do it. So these are the two worrisome factors which I see with AI. And I think there's a lot of evolution that we need to go through when it comes to how this needs to be tackled. We still don't have laws in place because it's not as widespread yet. We're still discovering, we're still finding our way out over there. So there needs to be some kind of law enforcement that comes in when it comes to the use of AI, what can be done, what can't be done, which I think will eventually happen. And then comes the part where you can just replace them and get the job done by just AI and not have writers. You come from the world of journalism, you know the importance of writers and what you bring to the table. And there's something very interesting. Recently, there was a strike in Hollywood that happened where all the writers went on strike.
Yes.
Yeah. And at that time, people actually said that we won't increase their pay. We'll just start getting things done from AI. And a lot of people said, no, this can't happen. We should get back to work. Of course, there's some kind of insecurity. There was this one girl who held a protest board that said, you can get AI to do our job, but who is going to bring the emotional baggage to your stories? So, when we actors, we writers, we musicians, all of us, when we come and we give it us, when we give whatever we do, at that time we are bringing all this with us. And that's something AI can't do. So when it comes to AI replacing the human in any form, I don't think that can happen. They're never going to be able to do what we do because we do this with our experience. We do this with our emotional intelligence. And that's not AI. So I guess somewhere you find the balance. You figure out how to fit AI with our lives, how to use it in the right way. You have laws in place that make you not misuse it, as you're rightly saying about the somebody else doing your job. So all of this needs to be figured out with time.
I would like to add to what Nikki said. I agree with a lot of what you said, Nikki, about the emotional quotient version. But the truth is that, you see, as we speak, there are movies that are actually speaking one language and simultaneously, in context, with the same connotation, that actor's voice is now being AI'd into all languages with the connotations, the feelings, the aesthetics, the culture, everything. So, we are heading into a place of that. Now, the other thing is that, you see, you're going to have to build a brand as an actor. You're going to have to build yourself to be a brand because at some point in time, your brand is going to be on the virtual world and you're going to be sleeping and doing movies without you really being on set. So your avatar is going to replace you on a lot of things. So are they going to get all this emotions? It's going to take time because you see right now, if you see anybody's AI presentation, there's very little stock that's going around and you'll see a lot of files and a lot of data that's pretty much the same. So we've built an entire ecosystem with Google and Meta and all of that. An ecosystem will be built over time for AI to pick it up from the cloud and make those things really happen. So, yeah, for an actor, it is like a decade down. I don't know what acting will be as a career, but yeah, let's see.
I wouldn't
As
say
in-
acting is going to complete. I'm so sorry. I'll just add on to what Zayed said. I don't think acting can ever go out as a career. I very strongly believe in that because if you see back in the day, it was always first theater and then cinema came in. And when with cinema, there was animation that was introduced. And at that time, everybody thought, who's going to watch this? And you see how animation has progressed today. There's 3D and there's all sorts of, there's a whole market out there for animation. But that does not mean that the market for cinema or for theater has gone anywhere. There's also still a huge market for that.
Nikki, you don't have to be worried because you're already a brand. But
Thank you.
the next gen will have to be worried, trust me.
No, I'm just saying that, like, I don't think actors should feel insecure if they're doing doing it the right way, because that's here to stay. I mean, our takes are never the same. After every cut, when we repeat a take, we are doing it in a different way. We can never replicate our own takes. So that's always going to be the way. We are going to always bring that to the table, which AI can't.
And I think I completely resonate with both of them, Zayed and Ricky, because being an entrepreneur and we have a lot of products and we need smart and pretty faces like you to endorse the product. So I'll just give you an example. Like we have Baman Irani for one of our products. It's for nigric and acanthosis. It's a problem. You have dark elbows and patches. So he's done a fantastic job. He's our brand ambassador for that product. And I don't think the kind of credibility he carries because he has done some amazing movies. An AI model can do it because the emotions and the way he has delivered it, it's amazing. So I don't see any threat to the
So
Bollywood industry.
I'll just add to that. So God made man in his image. Man is making AI in his. So it's a watered down version. Okay, it will take time for it to like become sentinel and for it to like actually reason and think and give emotions. But you must understand that every 5 years, fashion changes, lingo changes, ethics change, the way people see happiness, sadness, sorrow, fear, all of these things are changing. So you will need humans to understand at what point of evolution are we for even AI to depict, a one-line script, as to how
well
they're
said,
going
well
to.
said. Yeah, absolutely. Shalini, would you like to?
So I was recently, when I was invited to this panel, I was quite surprised with the topic. And my interest in cinema is just starting. I have been with this medium for very long, but I came across some information which was like the accent of the actress in the film Brutalist was actually improved by AI. There were a couple of, I think Tom Hanks and another, they were in, not Tom Hanks, I think one of the actors in another film, they were, de-aged, as they say, to show the entire story rather than spending hours on makeup and prosthetics. So AI is being used, of course. Also, AI is using the information that we have created. They are mastering it, perfecting the scenes, the lighting, but they're not being able to create anything over that. Suppose Picasso created a painting, but AI will copy it, but not be able to create anything further. So the idea is that AI will reach a level where it will copy, like what happened with the Ghibli studio, and it was absolutely not correct. But it can master it and reproduce it. But will it be able to create something new? That we do not know right now, and hopefully not. So.
Shalini, that's a very passionate thing that you're saying, but I beg to differ. Once AI becomes sentinel, which means when it becomes, conscious, okay, it will become, it'll leave us humans behind. Where we will come into play is, most importantly, is AI, which is artificial generative intelligence, which will be coming up. What will be important is how you use your prompt. I was just speaking with Meena before that if you understand that how to use it as a tool, it'll be a slave to you and it'll work for you. But if you do not have the understanding of how to utilize it, then you will be slave to it. So how you prompt, like say a chat GPT, a DeepSeek or whatever it is exactly how you're going to get what answer you want. And that will measure from person to person. So we are still the masters of AI individually. We're like a drop of the ocean. but we are still part of the ocean. Yeah. But I thank you for what you said, because a lot of
Thank you.
people are actually thinking down that line, and it might not be so.
You know what you rightly said, that of course it's being used to make our films better, to correct certain things which ideally you would struggle to correct. But even after all of that, today you have, I mean, in spite of all the lighting and the editing, you still have films that try and make it like they try to go the raw way. I mean, you have films that choose not to light a frame. You have films that choose not to probably cut a take. You have films like that as well. And that's a different side of filmmaking. Like, if I have to name Adolescence is one of those shows which is shot in a single take. They've not used any external lighting. They have the option available, but they've chosen not to use it. I feel like similarly, there will be filmmakers who will say that, no, we don't want to use this. We have this available, but we want to do this the real way, and this is how we want our film to look. So I feel like that difference certainly will be visible to the
So
audience.
the issue is also not just what anybody wants creatively. I'm a very creative person. I've painted all my life. I love to do things rather than do anything to the computer or whatever. But it's not going to be cost effective anymore to actually probably have physical lighting. So that is also one of the issues. Like, probably there'll be studios who would want to, like a director would want, I want a real actor, but there's, we don't have the money for it. So there's so much dilemma to that as
Of
well.
course, that's of course
What
there. I'm saying there are
Cost
people
effect-
who
like
choose to go the hard
ultimately
way.
it will come
even
down
today.
to somebody saying that I would like, this is what I'd like, and there'll always be someone, and then the trend will start. So I know.
So cost effectiveness will actually determine on how popular you are. Okay, it's as simple as that. So the more popular you are, so the more costs can be administered to any kind of project. So now how you get popular is different. So that's pretty
So
much it.
guys, the takeaway from today's conversation basically was very reassuring in the sense we are still masters of AI. AI is not our master.
And in
yeah.
our case, we need
Yeah.
the real skin.
Yeah.
Like, if someone has pigmentation on the face, we need a real human to show how it has progressed.
Correct.
How our product has worked on the. I don't think AI is going to help us in that.
Yeah. So thank you so much for this, everyone. And I think with this we'll wrap. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you guys,
Thank you
thank you
so
so much.
much.
Thank you.